Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Cypha Sistas. We in the building. How you doing today, Rach?
I'm good. Hi, everybody. Shalom in your heart and home, and welcome to another episode of Cypha Sisters. We're super happy to be here. I know it says episode 3, but that should actually say episode
Episode
14.
14, and that is totally my bad. I just caught that. Did you just catch that?
Yeah, I
Okay, all
literally
right.
just
I'm
looked.
gonna go back and see if I can correct it in a bit, but yeah.
But we're really happy to be here as usual. Today, we're going to be talking about, of course, open relationships and open marriages as per Empress's request.
Yes.
And we actually have a special guest this week who is, a connoisseur of open relationships. And I hope that I'm not offending her because I'm not trying to. But she's someone who supports open relationships and has a positive perspective. And I thought it would be good to have another voice on the show today. She'll be joining us around 12:30, the one and only Chi Vital. So I'm looking forward to connecting with her and hearing what she has to say. But before we get into it, what you smoking on today?
So I've got some the mango crumble again, and I've been puffing on that a little bit. And in my tea, I've got some. I can't remember what it was called, but it's ghost something or other. I'll come back to you guys with the name. It's
Nice.
actually pretty cool. And what I smoked before I got started was some cherry stuff. And you know what? I'm gonna get back to you on what I got. What you smoking on, honey?
I'm smoking on something I never heard of. My gifter. Man, I gotta take a special moment to shout my gifter out. He is top notch and always, always coming with a variety, always coming with the new flavors. Like, I love it. I love it. So this week's flavor is called Almond Joy.
Ooh, I like that.
Now, right? When you think of Almond Joy, you would think that it would be like brown or something. Girl, this thing is purple.
Oh Lord, I love my perks.
Okay. So
I love my perks.
it has like it has a grapey flavor, but it also has like a nuttiness to it as well, which I guess that's why they call it Almond Joy. Of course it's a hybrid, so it's not gonna be on my bucket list. But it's a 30 sativa, 70 indica, and
Okay.
it has almost 30% THC. So you know that shit is popping. And I
Hell.
will say it's been it been a good strain for the week because I haven't had time to do my usual like thing where I'm having my infusions in the middle of the day or to get me going. I didn't have no time to do that. This week been crazy.
Mm.
So all I've really had time to do is puff puff. And y'all know for me that's a big deal because I don't even like to smoke. But my gifter be gifting. That's what I would say. All
That's
right.
what's up. And so shout out to my gifter as well. Uh, young lady doing her thing. And I love it. I love it. I love it. And I'll shout out her little company too. VA's Finest Aromas. And what's the other one? Northern Virginia Exotics. Those are two companies that I'd like to shout out. You can find those folks on Telegram if you're in the Virginia area. And so from there, I'll say that I'm smoking, or I smoked before I got here. I smoked enough for the day, I feel like. But some cherry sashimi was the name of it. And I looked it up in Leafly and couldn't even find it. So
yeah, that's the same thing with Almond Joy.
Yeah,
I have to do like a deep search for it because they only have information for the cultivators who are growing the strain. I guess it really hasn't hit the market yet. That's what I'm telling you. I love my gifter. He be hitting me with the new shit.
Yeah,
exclusive.
Yeah. Shout out. Like I said, shout out to those two platforms right there. You can find them on Telegram if you're in Northern Virginia. And there'll be some verification and stuff like that. But outside of that, I love the stuff that they be putting out and the stuff that they be coming together with. So yeah, man. Yeah. That cherry sashimi got me feeling right. Real good, right? So I'm cool with it. Yes.
So hit us. What's up in the legal world? Hit us up.
All right. So in the legal world, we've got Secret Service is now relaxing its cannabis rules for agent applicants. So, before you couldn't get a security clearance unless you hadn't smoked in like 20 years.
Wow.
Now they're starting to relax some of those. And some agencies, if you smoked at all, you know what I mean? They would
That's
automatically
awesome.
kick out your application. So Secret Service agents, which
As they deserve. That's a stressful fucking job.
I
Really
mean,
putting your
bodyguard,
life on the line for,
somebody they may not even like.
okay. They'll be able to puff pass.
Remember that song by Still Pulse, Bodyguards?
Yo, for real.
Yeah.
Snakes in the grass, they know not God. Polytricksters drinking human blood, concrete heart. Yeah. Classic.
That is a classic. But
That's
yeah, I always think of them when I hear that song. I'm like, oh, poor guys. You know what I mean?
Right? Because it's true. I wouldn't like your job. I would not.
No, I can do it. I can do it. Because I mean, yeah, I can do it. I just can do it. I just really couldn't do it. And I know you got to separate, job from, but I get, yeah. I ain't gonna be able to look at you every day if I can't stand you.
Right?
So yeah. All right. So California psychedelic bill headed to the Senate for approval. Yay, Cali. Yay, Cali. Pennsylvania passed a bill to ban safe consumption sites for illegal drugs. Isn't that crazy?
That's stupid. And it's true. Just as an aside, I followed this group in Philly on Instagram, and they were doing their little consumption lounge. It's called the Lair, 420 Lounge, the Lair in Philly.
Okay.
And the cops busted them trying to find drugs, and they didn't find shit. And they basically they destroyed that place when they did a raid on it.
Don't cops always?
And it was just a community. Yes, they consume cannabis there, but it was more of a community.
It's community center
for Black people to gather and do things. Like there was a whole bunch of other stuff going on besides the cannabis, and they still Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
yo, the schools is trash, Philly. Just so you know. I'm not talking about to the people who live there. I'm talking to the government. Do better. Your schools is trash, bro.
Facts.
That's why Abbott Elementary. Come on.
Yeah, I love that show.
Me too.
I absolutely love that show. Those kids are so funny. Those teachers are hilarious, though. But New York regulators are being sued for opening the dispensary without consulting the community in Harlem.
What?
Harlem, what the fuck y'all doing?
What?
Has Harlem been gentrified?
I ain't gonna hold you. Yeah, Harlem is very gentrified, and it might not be the Black people there.
Yeah.
It might not be the community, if you get what I'm saying.
I just think no, I'm gonna keep my opinion to myself on that. But that's a historically Black neighborhood, Yeah. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. Colorado lawmakers send bills to governor to legalize online sales. Another big deal. Yes, fact.
Yeah, but I mean, so how would they regulate that? You have to just have an IP address that's in Colorado, I guess?
I don't know. I didn't read into the regulations and things like that.
It's how are they gonna stop people from getting their shit?
Yeah.
But I guess you have to have it shipped in Colorado. So
you probably do. It probably has to stay in Colorado. It probably has to be ID verified and all that other stuff. I mean, people ship prescriptions all the time, so they're probably going to pick one of those types of models like Hims and Hers. That's a whole new prescription shipping thing. There's a bunch of them out there, so hopefully they're going to use some of that research to figure out, what's the better way to try to do that. I'm
curious as to how that would work.
I'm hoping. Well, the platform or the foundation is already kind of there. Like I said, good morning,
Empress. We said that together.
But she got it double up.
I'm glad you're here because we doing this episode is dedicated to you.
Oh yeah. So please,
for your request for the topic.
Yes. Hit us up in the comments for sure. Wisconsin voted to remove medical and medical.
Your notebook.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to read it because I don't have my glasses on. People, y'all got to work with an old person. Y'all got to work with me. So, Wisconsin voted to remove medical and recreational cannabis legalization.
Wait, where?
in Wisconsin. So they removed. So the governor had a budget. So they removed all his stuff from the budget. So yeah, now he has no funding to be able to do that.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. That's crazy. But Wisconsin is definitely an anti-Black place.
Yeah. I mean, I think they still in the Midwest, and people don't never talk about this, but in the Midwest, there are a ton of sundown towns as well, just as they are in the South. Don't get it twisted. Representative Elon, Democrat out of Minnesota, spoke on racial disparities in cannabis law enforcement, like when they're enforcing law. It's not something we didn't know, but at least she's now bringing it up, right?
I mean, good, because the conversation needs to be had way more often than just with her bringing it up.
Exactly. And she gets a hard time anyway. She gets a hard time because she's a Black woman, right? She's Muslim. And they always coming for her. They always coming for her. Yeah, she may not identify as Black, but she looks Black to me, so I'm gonna call her a Black woman. But so that's what I got on legislation. All right. So there are 1,256 cannabis bills, 16 to be heard today. So you guys make sure you support the representatives that are supporting us. Get out there and do some voting, and let's see if we can change the world. Yes, Empress, you're right on time. And
you are.
Yeah. And bang.
So, for hot topics, I didn't gonna hold you. I didn't have a lot because I was so focused on our main topic, and I just went down the rabbit hole of open relationships and open marriages. But before we get into the main topic, I want to talk about the article you sent me about loneliness.
Oh, actually, I thought we were going to group that into another thing. Actually, if you don't mind, I'd like to start off with the topic, but not necessarily speaking on marriages, but open friendships, because I think that's something that people.
That's interesting. Let's talk about it. Let me hear.
Which is why I named it open relationships. I mean, because for real.
I mean, but aren't friendships open in nature? Like,
they're supposed to be. But like, if you've got a best friend that's been your best friend forever, and they bring in a new best friend, you sometimes people be looking sideways. Like, oh, so you didn't invite me? We didn't think you would enjoy it, but you could have asked. I mean, there are people. No, but I ain't gonna hold you. There are people dead ass that get seriously offended when you bring a new friend into the relationship if you haven't consulted them first. And it's. I understand it, but on one note, I find it to be selfish because you don't know what blessings.
I'm still here. I just gotta do something off camera.
No. Go ahead. But you still don't know what blessings you may be missing by bringing that new friend. And you may develop an even stronger relationship with that new friend than the person that introduced them to the relationship. So, open your hearts, open your minds, open your love, open your arms. And I think that we should welcome new friends in. However, I do get so I've got a couple of friends that aren't necessarily of that mind thought though, or that mindset though. And so you kind of feel the jealousy, you see the jealousy, even with siblings. You feel the jealousy, you see the jealousy, and it's like, wow, they really value me that much. And so sometimes you don't even want to really develop the newer friendship because you're worried about how it's going to impact your relationship with somebody else. Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because I wouldn't say I'm the jealous friend, but I'm the no new friends friend.
You're no new friends.
I'm not, it isn't necessarily jealousy. It's more of like, I gotta try you to get to know you and be. So, like Empress says, be open-minded. You don't own a person. I don't own my friends, and I'm cool with you being friends with other people and, doing what you got to do. But
the faces you're making right now, like,
I I mean, I'm trying to figure out how to say this politely. I guess I'm just not with the cross mingling. Like, just have your friends. Your friend is your friend. Like, I'm not. I don't know how to say this. So that's
so you're not open to them bringing a new friend into the relationship unless you felt them out, and there has to be steps in order to introduce it. I guess introduce a new person.
I mean, I guess why do we need a new friend?
Because as you're growing, as you're getting older, and your life is changing, you're.
I mean, but why do they
different
need to be a
stages.
part of our relationship?
They don't necessarily have to, but if you enjoy spending time with both of these two people equally, then why not?
All right. For someone like me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a super introverted person and my social battery dies very quickly.
Okay.
So I'm not the friend that you're gonna like, that I would be like, okay, bring another friend. Because then I also have to socialize with the other friend and you. And then navigate the feelings that I have if y'all have inside jokes and leave me out. You know what I mean? Like,
I like your perspective though.
They don't say two's company, three's a crowd for no reason.
Well, damn. I thought that was in like wow. Okay. But I feel it. There are no wrongs. There are,
I know there aren't, because I definitely understand the other side. People, somebody, all right. So not to get into the conversation of like open marriages or whatever, but this particular woman, she was talking about like the reason why she felt like she needed to be in an open relationship is because the different people she was in relationships with were accessing different parts of herself, and that helped her. So I guess in terms of friendships, yeah, okay, I get why somebody would, but you don't need to access that simultaneously. Like, know your friend. Yeah. Let's put it like this: know your friend. I'm not the friend who needs another element if we're hanging out.
Okay.
Like, unless we have agreed on it and made a plan, and like, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
9 times out of 10, it's not necessary for me. I'm cool if I chose you to be my friend. I chose you. You've been vetted. You've been tried. I like you. I want to be around you specifically, not an additional element now added into the to the mix. You feel me? Like, that's just me.
Okay.
I can't speak for other people. Excuse me. I'm trying not to cough. But for me, I really am not feeling like in terms of friendships, like, all right, I get it. You make new friends. People make new friends all the time. You feel me? Like, you have friends for your entire life. And like, all right, Chi Vital, who's going to be on the show. We've been friends since we was kids. She has new friends. Like, we had a period in our lives where we were like bosom buddies. When you saw her, you saw me, and vice versa. And then we both grew up and started making new friends. And I actually had another best friend from childhood too. And their dynamic even cracks me up. Like, Cheese and my other best friend's dynamic, it's the most hilarious thing ever. And they don't even realize it, but I find it super hilarious. But both of them are just like me in the side eye. Who is this? Why you bringing them around?
Yeah.
Why? Okay. So, like, the three of us never really hung out growing up, like, together. I like you said, what you were saying about like you wanted it, you thought it would be good for all three of us, the new friends to hang out if you made a new friend, and then you wanted them to hang out with your old best friend. I thought it would be awesome, the three of us together.
But it never
happened because they were never, like, I could feel that neither one of them were interested in that type of space. So I've been on both sides of it.
Yeah.
And I get it, but as a person who understands the space of the side eye, I just respected it and hung out with them separately.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That might be on your side, Empress, because we're pretty clear here.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I think you see me pretty well, right?
I see you.
All right,
No,
cool.
freezing up, nothing.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I think that you got to know who you're dealing with too. You know what I mean? And so once you know who you're dealing with, like for real, if you've got a party animal friend, then that party animal friend, you pair that up with another party animal friend, so you ain't got to do as much partying.
And yeah, that's very strategic. That's not open relationships. That's strategic partnering.
Because I get tired easy, and I may do 1 or 2 dances on the dance floor, but then I'm coming back to sit down, and I want to have conversation and chill and talk and say hey to everybody. But yeah. Our guest has just arrived, so should we let her in?
Yeah, let her on.
All right.
Let's get it started.
Good afternoon.
What up, y'all?
Hey, Cypha, did you put your name on the thingy so everybody can see it?
Oh, yeah. You know what? Let's see. Bam.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, okay, I see. I could have put what, my IG or something.
You could have.
Yeah.
The next time you come on, you can put your
spice
IG
it up and put whatever you like.
So everyone, this is Cypha Sistas. How about you give a little intro, share who you are?
Yes.
Just don't get too shy. Just give us a little taste. Give us a little.
Who are you?
I am. I'm Chidiki, aka Cypha Sistas, out in this world and in these streets, King Chi. Right? What am I? What do I do? I'm out here just speaking wellness, wholeness to everyone. I do body work. I do energy work. I take people through sacred ceremonies, through psychedelics. That's my form of shamanism. I see y'all using another medicinal, Cypha Sistas.
That's right.
I also do a lot of life strategy work for people. So shadow work is one of my mainstays. And you all have me on here about open relationships, and I'll call it flexible relating.
Like I said, I wanted somebody who had a more positive perspective to come and speak on it.
Yeah, and customized love. You know what I'm saying?
What did I say?
Okay, I'm appreciating it. That's what's up.
All right. Whatever floats your boat. You know what I'm saying? So to me, a lot of the work there comes from shadow work and my experiences in dibbling, dabbling, being fully committed to an open marriage at one point. Also being a very disciplined, monogamous as well. So that's something that I would like to touch on. I'm looking forward to your questions. But
so can we get right into it? Can we get into, so the topic was given to us by someone who's married.
Okay.
And so could we talk about your open marriage if you feel like sharing? How I don't even know where to start as far as questions. So how, if someone was approaching an open marriage, like wanted to go ahead and begin that, what are some tips or advice you would give them, like to make sure that it starts in a functional way for both people?
Yeah.
All right. So one, I'm gonna speak from a place of integrity and my authentic experience. So what worked when it was working, what didn't work and why.
Okay.
And to be able to isolate that when it didn't work, it wasn't just about the open marriage. Because sometimes people think that an open marriage doesn't work because, there's so many other people. But there's so many different areas of relating to another human being that needs to be looked at.
That's valid. That's valid.
As a married couple approaching open marriage, so are we talking about someone, two individuals who came into a marriage, committed to one-on-one relating, and then decided that they'd like to open a marriage?
Let's go from there.
Relationship, yeah.
Let's go from that perspective.
Those are the articles that you sent over.
So here, say that again.
So Rachel shared a couple of articles with me, and I found it interesting that the women were the ones that were kind of initiating this. And so, I was saying that, that's kind of the way it started with the articles that she sent over, were like when they were already in a relationship and they were discussing how to become open.
All right. So I can attest to being the wife in a situation asking to move into an open marriage.
Okay.
Intuitively, women are wired to integrate and
Yes.
to make everything work as a community. Okay, so we are the basis of the ecosystem in a household.
Mm-hmm.
The moment when a woman decides to bring to the table opening the marriage, most times, unless she's absolutely immature, she's coming to the table because she's looking for a solution to how the ecosystem is going to work.
Mm.
She either needs more hands, she realizes and recognizes there's a need not being met, whether it's her own or her spouse's, okay, or them together. Um, that's like the first thing. Or there has been, when I say there's a need not being met, there has been so many occurrences of an individual either secretly with, like, withholding feelings that can be
Mm-hmm.
felt. Either they can feel their husband is elsewhere and they have come to a certain place of self-love and confidence that they're able to hold space and say, okay, so rather than you be out here and there where you're more likely to make mistakes that can tear down this empire that we have begun, I can be here to support you in authentic growth. Like, you're growing. There's something you're experiencing, and rather than you creating this gap between us because you feel like you have to compartmentalize it elsewhere, I am strengthening our relationship as friends.
Okay.
Because if you're looking at a relationship that's going to endure the test of time, you have to have a true friendship. And we know that most times we start having an extramarital relationship, or even the friendships that we have, the reason why they feel so relaxed is because we have that space to be. There's no pressure to be something that you are not.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I just want to speak to what you were saying. I was reading an article about why people usually have extramarital affairs, and one key component amongst all of the people who were seeking relationships outside of their marriage was they connected with that person because they felt like themselves. Like, it helped them to feel like not their role self, so not a wife, a mother, a husband, whatever, just that person as themselves. So it gave them the space that they needed to. So I completely understand what you're saying. I agree.
Yeah. Like, my story when I decided let's just try an open marriage was because I saw my ex at the time, but I saw my ex struggling with honesty. And I feel like where there's dishonesty, there's a lot of fear present. If you're afraid in our safe haven, like, what is that going to do to our economy? What is that going to do to the health of the children, of the energy in the household? The time where I saw the energy pick up the most was when I took the bull by the horns and was like, okay, so if we're going to do this open thing, and we had the agreement that we both would be able to do it, I was able to model what that would look like and experience at that time in my life the most energy possible. Because once you're comfortable, like, think about it. When we get into spaces where we feel like ourselves, like the articles are speaking about, we relax, like, we breathe, we open up, we feel more energized because we're not wasting energy trying to, like, hold it together. It's like being in a job interview you're more tired sitting in one spot answering questions than when you go to the club and you loosen up and you're dancing for hours. Just continue to be energized and continue to be energized. So I saw that when everyone was on the same page, meaning we knew what was up, there was more energy available, which means, okay, now we can delegate. Okay, this is your strong point. You're going to take care of this. This is your strong point. You're going to take care of this. What do you need? I can show up here because I have extra energy. Now, what do you need? I can show up because I have extra energy. What broke it down is the same thing that breaks down any relationship. And it comes down to poor communication, not willing to be honest about what's working and what's not working, right?
Yeah.
People are people. So people have egos. Does not matter how amazing and grounded you are. At some point, if you don't have a practice in place where that ego can be checked, but it's brought back into a place of love, wars start. People get out of place and out of pocket, and sometimes unforgivable. So it doesn't matter who you're dealing with. You deal with that with your one-on-one relationship. You deal with that with your friends. You deal with that with children.
Just in any relationship, it's a part of relationships.
Yeah, it's like so you gotta. If two people are coming into a marriage and they made the vows till death do us part, and it's just me and you forever and ever, never. And one person really sticks to that script and is like, well, that's the way that it was written, so that's how it's going to be. They tend to end up more upset internally, creating other forms of dis-ease because the human evolves, through time, especially when you're this close to someone. You, without even trying, end up in a space where you're constantly reflecting. And by yourself, you don't do the growth that way. You grow even faster when you're that close to someone. Because they're constantly responding to you, what you do, and like they can see how you pick your boogers. When you're by yourself, like who's going to tell you about your smelly feet? No one's going to.
That's true, because you don't smell them apparently if you walk around.
So before we continue, I wanted to see if you wanted to address Empress's comment.
Oh, what was the comment?
I'm putting it back.
She asked about an open relationship when your children are gone and grown.
Two adults whose children are out the house.
Yeah, like I'm an empty nester right now.
Oh, I mean, I think that that makes more space for more
easier, right?
Yeah, exactly.
When the children were in the house, something that in retrospect that I did not look at. So why I say it's easier is because children, they only know as much as what their environment teaches them.
That's true.
So if most of the households that they're in, or amongst their friends, or in the books that they're reading, the normal is mom, dad, us, and then there's a third party around, unless it's openly explained, it can create a level of confusion.
Yeah.
That as parents, we are responsible for what we expose our children to. And being curious enough to see what do they think about it? How is it affecting?
Yeah.
Now, when children are out the house, it's like, I think back to parents when I was away for the summers, like I was told we couldn't wait till you left because we can walk around ass naked. It's the same thing. It's like, once the children are out the house, now we can really adult. Now we can really see, like, what are you made of? What are you thinking about? And if you needed to argue, it ain't gonna hurt the walls.
No, it's not.
Actually,
you be loud as you want to be.
You know what I'm saying? We're going shot for shot. I'm taking a shot. I'm taking a pull. We're going to talk. You tell me how you feeling, how you like it. Like, you have a space to really create like a playing field.
Yes.
Curiosity.
Yeah. Now, did you grow up in a situation where there was polygamy or open marriage or?
Like, all right. So when I say like your children can like pick up things and not not really know what's going on sometimes. So I started to think about this later on because in my household, it was just my mom and my stepdad. And in my dad's household, it was just my dad and my stepmom.
Okay.
However, right, my dad has what, three baby mothers. And the way that he speaks about them is that he's a king and that all of his baby mothers get along because that's the way it's supposed to be. Right. When and growing up in my household with my mom, we had conversations about relating, and I would say I'm gonna have like multiple husbands, and she would tell me that that was fine because she had multiple boyfriends at one time. They all had their own days, and
Yeah, yeah.
me
I
how
did that once.
did like just because you're mad, like she get like use names. Let's say like I have Aaron and Kevin, right? Just
Uh-huh.
because you're mad at Aaron on Aaron's day and you decide not to see him doesn't mean you see Kevin on Aaron's day.
No.
Like you have to deal with your emotions around not being with Aaron on Aaron's day. So being, I'm talking about like a teenager and having the woman who was grooming me, I don't want to use the word grooming, rearing me, right? You know,
Raising you.
Raising. Yeah.
um, the
Influencing.
I want to use grooming because I'm anti pedos. So, and I learned, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
But she gave me the mindset that whatever I was feeling when it came to love, that it was okay to open up and speak honestly with who I was with, so that I would have the opportunity to be in an honest relationship. It didn't mean that I had to be with more than one person.
Okay.
I wasn't taught like, are you crazy? Like that's impossible. So I'm thankful that I was able to experience it on multiple occasions and in spaces where it absolutely was fantastic and where it was so stupid. And some of it is logic, some of it is emotional, some of it is financial. And I only found out in retrospect that my mother was a part of some open relationships. So it was like the things that you do, even before your children get here, it's in them already.
Yeah.
Them to explore, to experience. And the families in the community, I saw different polygamous families.
Okay.
So again, like what our children are exposed to, what's their norm is going to come from the household, the conversations you hold, and what community you're in. Like you speak to a Muslim family, like the children are not going to be thrown off because there's multiple wives.
Yeah.
In the environment, they're like, yeah, I mean,
That's normally what happens here, right? Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah. So I hope that answered your question.
It did. It did.
It did. So for me, I would just like to talk about like the counter side of it, I guess. When you're talking about seeing as a child what happens to children when they see these type of things, my parents weren't necessarily in open marriages. They were in more of a polygamous situations. And for me, I just, as a child, just watching the chaos. And like you said, it takes a level of maturity, and I feel like not many people have the maturity. They go into it thinking that they have the maturity to share the love, so to speak, and they don't. You know what I mean? And like you said, it requires maturity. It requires open and honest communication, not only between the partners, but also with the children who are involved in this, because then it definitely informs and speaks to their choices when they're adults. For me, polyamory and polygamy are just off the table. They're no for me, just because that's not how I'm choosing to live my life. I don't necessarily want to add new elements into my life. Like I'm the type of person, like I'm good stoking the fires that I have. For me, the vision was husband and wife, like you said, till death do us part, all the same kids with the same father. Like that was my goal and that was my choice. And you know what I'm saying? Like I I don't like I'm not shitting on anybody because I don't have a better, nicer way to say that. I'm not shitting on anyone who wants to be polyamorous or polygamous or, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like don't be messy. That's my biggest thing. Don't be messy because it also affects not only y'all, but the people in your lives who are peripherally watching these things happen, peripherally experiencing you. Because if, like, for instance, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm close to one person who's in a marriage and then they add a new partner and all of it goes awry, but I've already gotten close to your spouse. So now I got to look at, I can't be close to your spouse anymore. I can only be friends with you. The new guy is gone. He was around for a little while, or she was around for a little while. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's beautiful, but it's also just like how you do it matters. It really does matter.
Can I speak to something you just said that I think only now I'm starting to see why it becomes so important? Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. So like I understand what you're saying as far as the messiness. Here's the thing. You said you were committed to this way of being, but if it's working, it sounds like the two of you are committed, right? So we are committed to this way of being. That's two. People outside of the relationship that you're in have to know one thing for certain. You're committed first, and your priority first, your relationship as it stands, and how your friends and outside of it feel about the actual relationship. There has to be a certain level of respectful boundary. So that if you're building, let's say, for example, me and you are cool, you're cool with my husband, and then there's this other woman that comes into play. And then somehow my husband and this woman, they're cool and they move on and I'm by myself. Right? Respectfully, if you came into the situation because you and I are friends and you became friends with my husband, you don't have an obligation to maintain your friendship with him, but in a mature way as adults, if you want to be cordial and y'all have some type of friendship going on, so long as you're not being his friend and now you're not my friend, I think that makes sense because I'm a point of reference. Now, if you develop a relationship where you actually are cool with the woman that he's with, as a mature person, I should not be like, you my friend. You're not supposed to be friends with her because she came in and ruined my marriage. If that's the case,
but are we that mature though? Are we as human beings?
As
like,
human beings, I don't know.
I'm not that mature. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not that mature.
The thing is, a lot of people are not on that level of maturity, so it does become difficult. But it's not impossible.
It's not. You're right.
And
You're right.
At some point, we have to look to one. I like when we know for a fact, like I'm not that mature, right? Fine, I'm not that mature where I realize everyone lies, and so that when I'm lied to, I can just brush it off. Like I'm aware of the fact that people lie. They get uncomfortable or they rather create certain comforts.
Yeah.
Lying. Omission, lying. Okay? Everybody does it.
Oh, yeah.
Still a lie. However, in those relationships, it's just like you recognize that if you're grappling with your friend being friends with someone else that you two were friends with at some point because y'all was sharing a husband, can you be like, okay, like I still need to heal that and at least use the trigger for your own self-work?
Yes, of course. Of course. You know what I mean?
But don't condemn your friends.
But it would take a lot of work, and I mean, I feel like the friend also has to acknowledge the feelings of the person who's hurt. Like, it's a valid thing. It's not invalid that you would be hurt by that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right? No, your feelings are always valid. That's my thing. Your feelings are always valid. Now, whether you're in a space where someone wants to validate them or accept them or hold space for you, that's a different thing. But how you feel is absolutely valid because that's the way you're seeing it. Nobody can tell you how to or how to feel, how not to feel.
Exactly. Agree.
No, I agree with everything that's kind of been said because I've been in both situations. Like when I was dating, I had my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and but I wasn't mature enough to do some of the things that you just coached on. Like if I'm not feeling, if I can't have a date with Monday, then Tuesday shouldn't come over and hang out, right?
I mean, it's not black and white gospel. But I wouldn't say you're not mature to do that because if everybody knows what's up, then that to me is like the biggest pet peeve of mine. Like I'm not in there's two reasons I'm not in an open relationship anymore, to my knowledge. Because I'm gonna say that, right?
All right, to my knowledge.
Right? To my knowledge.
It's cheating if it's not to your knowledge. Cut it out.
Yeah. But I mean, this is the reality, right? I could be here and be like, no, I'm not. But
I mean, only God knows.
Only God knows. Right? However, I don't choose it because it's not an option that's being put on the table for me.
Yeah.
And it has not, I haven't seen it in like recently, like be something that is working. You know what I'm saying? I've always been interested in man and woman first establishing the foundation.
Yeah.
Like, it's like manage the mundane before you get into all this extra shit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Because then we're looking at people running away from the work that needs to be done.
Exactly.
Adding people does not make it easier. It makes it worse.
It makes it harder. Yeah. Because you've got to
I would think so. You're adding a whole unpredictable element to you can't control what this new person is going to do.
No, not at all.
Or how you're going to react to them also.
Yeah. You know and I mean, when I had my situation, when I was doing Monday through Friday, it was weird because the guys would get like jealous. Like they would get mad. And they'd be like, oh, so you like him better because why can't I come over tomorrow too? Well, it's not your day.
They probably stuck around because they like this element of competition.
They may have. They may have, but my Taurus don't like no elements of competition. My current Taurus husband does not like elements of competition. He don't want me looking at nobody. He don't want nobody looking at me. Something, yeah. It's just, and I'm comfortable here now.
And see?
Yeah, I'm comfortable here now. But you know,
because you said something and I feel like it's a really key component.
Go for it.
You were talking about how important it is for the foundational relationship before you open your relationship, to how important it is that the foundation of your relationship is solid. I think a lot of people miss that key. Like they get into a relationship, they've been in it for a little while, and then they're like, hey, let's open it up. Like I'm watching this show right now. It's called Seeking Brother Husband. It's hilarious. One. Two, the main thing that I saw. So there's one lady, right? She just married her husband. Like they were looking at the proofs from their wedding, and she's already looking for a second partner to add to her marriage. And I'm giving her the side eye because I'm like, man. Yeah. And her husband, I feel bad for him because he does not look like he's on board. He looks like he's doing it because she wants
to do it.
And it makes me sad. Like
yeah, I don't think anyone should open their marriage because the other person wants to open it. Because that won't work. And someone's gonna have to be courageous enough to leave.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
The other thing is that the foundational relationship, like my dad said, you know, people come here and they talk about polyamory, this, that, and the third, and they think it's going to work and it doesn't because the basis of it really is survival. They're doing it because of sex a lot of times. But the where it comes from traditionally is it makes sense. Like I'm not going to be able to take care of these 11 children all by myself. Or I'm a woman and making money outside a certain kind of way is not really my job or my space. So I'm willing to share this man who is a really, really great provider so I can have a roof over my head and the roof over my children's head. So
Yeah.
there's things that lend to this polygamy type of situation.
Illness is another way, right? So like
It's
if
not
somebody,
about building family.
no,
So I mean, well, the basis, the foundation of it is building an empire, right?
yeah,
We come here, the women can make their own money a certain kind of way, so they don't necessarily need to stay with a guy who decides he wants to have 5 other women. She can go and get herself somebody else and keep it pushing. Um, Other than that, it's like how many people are going to fit in this house? Like how many people actually have the space to accommodate
that many women. Yeah.
multiple cats in one house? Like there's not enough litter boxes in this motherfucker. We're going to be fighting. The other thing is like what's the plan? You know what I mean? Like marriage, like the love piece is fantastic, but there has to be a real plan. Like there's gonna be finances, there's gonna be food that has to be on the table,
There's
there's
gonna
gonna
be
be
sickness.
that has to be done, there's gonna be like what's the
If
plan?
somebody gets sick, yeah, somebody gets
Yeah, somebody
cancer and can no longer do, do you just leave them
Mm-hmm.
and move on to the next man? Or
Yeah.
do you stick
and then
by
what's
him
the
and y'all
reality?
have the conversation?
And then sex is necessary too.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
So like, what are you supposed to do? Like if your husband becomes impotent, and I'm not even joking, like if because in my age bracket, this is what's happening,
Okay.
So men are becoming more and more impotent.
Okay.
And so what are you supposed to do?
That's why I say honesty is a real good
Is the best part, right?
when
Because you may not see yourself being in that situation, but one day it may happen.
Yeah, I'll suggest not faking it from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, you should never fake it, please.
I mean,
that just builds too much ego.
But I was
You give
also
me the
going to
screen,
talk
you
about
doing something.
the
But
sex thing that she was talking about.
yeah.
How like the feeling. So there's another woman on Seeking Brother Husband, and she has 2 husbands, and she's about to bring in her third. And she was like, the reason why she keep on adding husbands is because she likes the feeling of being in love, and once that feeling starts to wane, like once she falls into the mundane of it, she's not that interested anymore. So I've seen that in a lot of polyamorous couples, and I just, that definitely gives me pause, I'll say, because I feel like it's a little bit selfish. Because like, so the second partner who she's now transitioning off for the new guy is like, wait a minute, I miss you. Because her complaint is that they're not having relations as often as she would like. So he's
sounds
like
an attention whore.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah. I mean, that's what these reality TV
Need a
people
lot of
typically are.
I'm like Mama said, Mama Dubing. She mentioned that I spoke about polygamy and economics, and then there's also the difference of polyamory. So there's a major difference. Polyamory is not necessarily always sexual, but there is definitely an attraction to multiple people. And like I'm not one to judge. I just think that every attraction doesn't mean it needs to become a relationship.
that part.
My tea over here.
A lot of attractive people and energetically,
You
like
could just enjoy the attraction and move on.
it's nice. I mean, sometimes it's just nice to enjoy it and like from a distance and keep it pushing.
Agree.
Every time you get off of the path, you introduce the opportunity for drama. It's like every person you have sex with, you increase your chances of picking up some type of germ. Like,
yeah,
reality. You know what I'm saying? And somebody else said we're not as mature as we think we are all the time. No,
agree.
Black Kingsman.
we
Agree.
are as mature as the experiences that we have had and proven to be. You know what I'm saying? So like we can, I think it's best that we speak on that and know if we're open to growing. Like some people like this is my capacity for growth and I'm not going past this and I think it's necessary.
Yep.
Like just that's fine. You know what I mean? Like if, if you're not open to other options, people should respect that. Like that's fine too. You may not be open to other options. Like to your mate, Nia, your Taurus guy, like he's not open to other options. That means that he's probably more willing to understand what is it that's going to rock Nia's world. If something's off, then he's gonna work at that. As opposed to like sometimes the other piece I didn't talk about is that there are men, I would say men, especially, you know, somebody challenge me, but men who decide to allow their relationships to be open where the woman can be in multiple relationships with other women or other men is like a little piece of laziness.
A huge piece of laziness.
You know what I mean?
Agree. If you look at the one who's on husband number 3, the first husband, he's so complacent, and that was one of my biggest like takeaways. I was like, oh, you just don't care. Okay.
Right. They don't care. Not trying to work, you know what I'm saying? It's just like I like cool. Now I ain't gotta fuck up. I mean, I don't know.
Exactly. No,
Exactly.
you're right. You're literally
Exactly.
right. You're absolutely right. That was his whole energy.
Irritated? Cool. I'm about to go play video games, and you can go out with
That's
him.
exactly what he
Because I just don't want to go to the things that you enjoy. I don't want to put in that energy to spend that time with you.
Dance with him. Dance with him. You know what I'm saying? Cool. Have fun.
Kizzy, I'm confused about what you mean by traditional relationships. I guess
I think she's talking about the traditional, the way that they classify traditional in this country. So it's a man and a woman, a husband and a wife.
So just two people, a husband and a wife together. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I believe she's saying. And no, I don't believe they're played out.
I don't think they're played out.
No,
I
there's
just think
plenty of people that only seek that.
As they used to.
I agree.
Because you know, traditionally it's like, you know, a husband and wife are together. They may go through something, and traditionally, like there's a best man and a best and a maid of honor for a reason. Those individuals actually come together to help support that marriage when it goes through its rough spot.
Yeah.
Nowadays, the attention span is so short that it's like, oh, like this is rough, this is hard. I'm out. Like, I'm out. I don't have to. Society, I don't have to go through any struggle at all. Like relationships are supposed to be easy. Like they're not.
They're not supposed to be easy at all. It's a ship in an ocean. It's called a relationship. The ocean is messy, choppy, unpredictable, and that's what life is. Like, are we kidding?
No, not at all. And you know, and it's crazy. It's crazy. All right, so yeah.
Being attracted to someone does not necessarily mean you want to sex them. How about if you love making mental love with that person? That's polyamory. I think that's polyamory.
That is polyamory.
And like for some people, that's a problem because
attraction is attraction, and if you're pursuing it, that's a whole nother conversation. Making mental love is still making some kind of love, and it's stepping outside of your relationship to make that love, and that's where the open and honest communication once again needs to come in. If you want to make mental love to somebody other than your spouse or your partner or whoever, you need to let your partner know.
That's cheating. Mental making love is cheating.
Thank you. Okay. Any love making is cheating.
Because sex is not just a physical act.
Not at all. Not at all.
Exchange.
As a woman, you should definitely know that.
Oh yeah.
And women emotionally, like that's where the
get tied into like I just need to see him every day at work, or
That's one of the main. That's one of the biggest parts of sex for women, the emotional component. Like,
I don't even think that the sex part, I mean, it's enjoyable, but it doesn't really matter if the emotion's not there. If you have no emotional tie to somebody, the sex is boring. It's just you're doing a duty or you're just there.
Yeah, you're the person getting jerked off into, essentially.
Yeah.
You're emotionless. Like, let's keep it a bean. Let's keep it a bean. Like,
Mr. and Seeley. He just goes to the bathroom. Yeah. That's the feeling. Now, I have a question for Chi. So in the relationships that you've seen that have been open relationships, have they survived?
Let me think.
Because I know that I talked to somebody yesterday, and while you're thinking, I talked to somebody yesterday, and I know him personally, and he's tried the open relationships and things like that, and now it's just like he'd rather be alone. He don't want no part of it.
You know what? They're very slim. They're very slim to surviving.
Yeah.
Just like the one-on-one relationships, like our divorce rate is super high.
Yeah.
So if you think that, this is what I'm saying, if you think that two people are having a hard time staying married, imagine more people trying to
keep a relationship together. Yeah.
There's so many personalities at play. Where's the space?
Yeah. As if you're arguing every day with your man.
I only know two that are still lasting.
How long has it been? How long have they been?
I think one is about. Don't quote me on it because I didn't follow their relationship for a long time, but some of them are a couple of decades long.
Okay.
But the ones in my life that were personal to me, no, they fell apart, but for the same reasons that the other relationships have fallen apart. Yeah. So I can't blame it on whether, having another person present works or not. I know when I was in it, when it worked, why I thought it was fantastic.
Okay.
And it was not just one thing. When it didn't work, it just turned out to be the same issue. It wasn't like, oh, okay, well, everyone is just mad. There were so many things underneath that needed to be addressed that weren't addressed.
Okay.
To add more people and kind of like fix one thing. It's like the plumber coming in and fixing one area, but there's a hole down the line. Like that, fixing that is not going to fix the hole that's down the line. Like addressing that part.
Yeah.
So either way,
and that comes to that foundation part that you're talking about. I mean, if the foundation is cracked, you can't bring nobody else in.
Right.
Because they're going to tip it and it's going to break. Until you have that strong foundation, you can't do something like that.
Now, the friendship was solid, which is why the co-parenting is way easier.
Okay.
So that's why I said at the end of the day, especially when we're talking about families, like you have to have the friendship component. I think my dad is 100% correct. And I refer to my dad a lot because he's always he's very opinionated and we go back and forth a lot, right?
Whose parents aren't? We as parents are opinionated to our kids. So.
Oh my gosh. Right. But like, if it wasn't for the friendship, it would be worse. I think it would be worse because we wouldn't have any space to discuss things and make sure that the children get what they need.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you don't have that friendship. You're right. Because I recently divorced my first husband, and I'm on number 2 now. So we'll see how that goes. I hope I'm not the common denominator, but we shall see, right? But that friendship was very important in continuing my daughter and helping her grow into a woman. It was definitely important that we were on the same page when it came to certain things like that. And that relationship of friendship carried on until, the insecurities of the new wife stepped in.
Okay.
And so, now we don't even speak. But I get it. My kid is grown now. I'm cool with it.
It's funny that you say if the new person, I experienced that myself. Like the friendship that I had shifted when the other person came into the space. I'm gonna blame it on like if the man and woman who used to be together are still really tight, that it can create an insecurity. It is. It's just like, although you come into the situation like, well, obviously, no matter how tight they were, it didn't work.
Yeah.
So like
exactly. So why
are you worried about it? Why do you
exactly.
But then you go, okay. Sometimes the fact that there's space enough for that friendship to flourish, will that make the person second guess if they did the right thing by moving on? So I think
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Yeah, I think
that a conversation just needs to happen, like open and honest communication, because at the end of the day, you got to go back to the mind space of like, if they wanted each other, they would be together. They both got 2 new marriages. Like, we don't want each other. So,
and I got married first. So we were 20 years together. I got married first, but the insecurity is a huge thing.
Yeah, it's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah. I mean, but move on and live your life. Shit.
It's sad.
It is. But, that's life.
That's life.
And change is always happening. So it's something that we have to deal with. Hey, look, I appreciate Kizzy Montgomery for joining. Empress, thank you for coming on board. Black Kingman, thank you for joining us today. And I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody else. We can continue the conversation, or we can.
We might have to wrap it up because I don't know if Chi's schedule permits anymore.
Got it. But that's cool with me. That's cool.
We really appreciate you coming on, and
yes, we do. Thank you.
Beautiful perspective on open relationships and open marriages. I knew you were the right person. Empress, we hope you enjoyed the topic as per your request from last week. Okay.
Hey, if you guys have other topics, though, please put them in the comments, and we will definitely consider and take a look at
it. Who's I'm here, ladies? It says Facebook user. If you commenting through Facebook, we can't see who you are. Sorry.
But thank you for joining us. Hey, Naomi.
Hey, Naomi.
Thanks for joining us, sweetheart. And Facebook user, thank you for joining us as well.
Exactly. Thank you. We'll be back next week as usual. We're getting into some mental health topics because May is Mental Health
Awareness Month. Yes,
Mental Health Awareness Month. So we're going to be talking about loneliness and how it is killing. It's killing us. It's killing us more than cigarettes, according to the Surgeon General. So we're going to get into that. And we love y'all. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see y'all next week.
Don't forget to follow too.
Have a good one.
Bye.